Welcome everyone to this week's Changelog. My name is Jacob. I'm joined today by Nick. How are you doing today, Nick?
Hello, hello. I'm doing amazing. Always excited for the changelog.
All right. And for the first thing we're going to go over is the proposal for this week. This is SIMD 148. This is MoveStake and MoveLamport instructions. So they're adding two new instructions, or they're proposing two new instructions for the stake accounts without having to do like holding withdrawer. There's a lot more information within this specific proposal. It looks like it's already been reviewed a lot from the initial push on this. I also know that this is probably in place of the redelegate instruction, which exists under a feature, but will unlikely to ever be activated. So it's cool to see a proposal to replace that, and that is a little bit better for developer experience wise. Moving on to commits, what have you seen this week, Nick?
Much like the last couple of weeks, there's been quite a few merged PRs that are relating to the CLI and program deployments. There's, I think, 3 or so that we're going to talk about in this changelog very briefly. And most of them by Jay Starry and John Chinkwe as usual. And this one specifically, newer block hashes when deploying larger programs. Basically, if you're deploying a really big program, multiple megabytes, effectively what was happening is you would eventually start getting block hash expiration messages, specifically block hash not found. And that's because it kind of would use the initial block hash you got when you started sending all those transactions. And this change actually effectively does like an auto refresh and keeps getting newer block hashes. So it'll speed up and improve deployments a little bit. And then the next one, also related to the CLI, is you can actually finally get the recent prioritization fee directly in the CLI, which is really nice. So if you are building some transactions locally, you can just get that. And then test validator. I thought this actually existed, but it turns out it didn't. So someone added it, which is great. A community member added the ability to use your test validator and sync to Bigtable, just like the regular validators do. Turns out test validator didn't already have that. So now it does, which was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun to see the comment from Tiara as well.
I love that comment.
She would use this. It's good to see that community contributions are helping out also the core team. That's the way that open source should work.
It's beautiful.
On other things that are community contributions, I wanted to give out a shout out to Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin.
Yeah, so if
creator of Bank Run too.
Yeah, Solana Bank Run. Lots of really cool tools from Kevin, and also Anchor Pi and Solana Pi and Soliders, like a bunch of cool tools. One of the things that he's doing right now on the core repo is he's also removing a lot of the bloat and dependencies so that it makes your compile times when you're building programs even faster. So things like removing frozen ABI's unused dependencies, removing the token 22 dependency from Rust's client API. All these things are helping for the developer experience. So I want a big shout out for Kevin. And then our resource of the week, I want to let you talk about this one, Nick, because it's documentation.
So near and dear to my heart. If you look at the docs here, you can see it on the screen. You know, go to solana.com/docs. The whole DevRel team at Solana Foundation, we've been going through a content sprint, as it were, and doing a bunch of updates within the docs. You can see like it looks a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer. We've got this nice secondary nav, which is nice, but specifically the core concepts. If you go to the core concepts on solana.com/docs/core/accounts is the first page, we went through and revamped this entire section. So it's there's a lot more information. There's graphics, there's all sorts of additional resources listed in there. So take a look at them. If you haven't looked through the docs, there's a lot more information added in here. And we're working our way through the rest of them and improving all the docs all across the board.
Yeah, and if you do have any feedback, please make an issue on the repo. You can find the repo.
There's even an edit page button right there.
Yeah, you can click the edit page, make an issue on that repo that it takes you to. We'd love to hear the feedback. Also, you're welcome to message both of us. Like, we'd love to hear the feedback and how we can further improve it, because this will improve the experience for all future developers.
Absolutely.
We also want to talk about StackExchange real quick. Shout out the people that are on the top. So we have Christian, who is currently number 1 for the past week. We have John, we have Chalda, White Seal, Mark, Jonas, Mike, some names that we also know and love to see. So if you don't know, please contribute to the StackExchange. It helps out developers looking for answers to their questions when they're developing on Solana. But that will wrap us up for this week's changelog. We will see you next week.
Bye-bye.